What's up, everyone? Should be a fun video today. This is going to be a review and tour of the uHual truck that you guys just saw in my cold start video. I'm doing this because I think it'll be entertaining. So let's go and get started. Starting off as usual with the exterior. There's absolutely nothing to say about the exterior. It's a Chevrolet Express GMC Savana work van with the rear 3/4 cut off of it and a giant box put on it. And that's all it is. You know, it's white and orange. It's uHual colors. It does have these nice blind spot mirrors, which are, and these big ass mirrors in general, which are really useful for A, checking your blind spot, and B, knowing where the truck is in the lane. The wheels are painted white, and it has a nice GMC center cap, and I'm pretty sure those are aluminum covers. It's got the more modern style headlights, not the sealed beam headlights. And the grille with the GMC logo. Really, it's just a big white box. Moving on now to the interior. It's a basic work truck. Everything's plastic, rubber floors, manual everything. Vinyl seats, which are actually pretty comfortable, and they do have armrests. They are adjustable. The backrest is adjustable, and they do move forward and back. And one thing that I've noticed is you really got to slam this door. If you don't slam this door, it doesn't close. You can see the gauge cluster. It's your typical Chevrolet Express work van gauge cluster. We've got the modern iteration of the multi-stock, your wipers on this little knob here, and your washers, and then turn signal and brights. It's better than the old multi-stock. Got very simple climate controls. There's no buttons, and I don't like that the off is integrated into the knob for the different zones. I wish the AC was a button. I'm fairly certain that this whole dashboard is straight out of a Chevrolet Express, but don't quote me on that. We got this radio, which GM has been using since 2006, which is hilarious. But it sounds good enough, and it does have an aux jack right there. Which means if you have even a vaguely recent iPhone, you got to choose between either listening to your own music or charging your phone. Got tow haul mode right here. 6-speed auto transmission with the manual shiftability via this little button right here. Got these ginormous cup holders and a little storage tray, traction control. And then this big ass cubby right here, which for me held a 64-ounce bottle of apple juice. Over on this panel here, you got a 12-volt traction control airbag on and off, which you can turn on and off at any time. And one thing that's interesting is it just springs the key out. And then we got a little wall plate outlet, which is good. And then another power outlet. No glove box. The passenger side door got your manual windows, manual locks, and the mirrors are manual as well. These seats are actually pretty comfortable. I had no issues in these seats over 6 hours. I didn't think the back adjusted until I found out that the back did adjust. And then this steering wheel. It's a 4-spoke steering wheel. It's all plastic. Nothing luxurious about it. Little pipsqueak horn. And then over here, these buttons over here control the information display in the middle. This top button will scroll through your trips, your fuel range, fuel info, timer, average speed, tachometer, and then just blank the screen. And the one right below that gives you various different vehicle information. And then this check mark at the bottom is how you reset everything. And then below that, you got your headlights control and your dome lights. The worst thing about this interior is this gauge right here. This thing is really annoying because it's based entirely off of throttle position. So even if you're cruising, this thing doesn't have cruise control. So if you're cruising on the highway and you have your foot on the throttle to maintain speed, this thing reads bad. It reads in the red, even though you're cruising. It's very irritating. Show you the manual windows. Very basic interior, but it gets the job done. And it's honestly not too bad. Time to move on. I'll show you the back real quick. Now to show you the back. This thing is 10 feet by 9 feet. And it's the back. Ow. I hit my head on the... I can stand in here if I'm not standing under the door, and I'm 6'2". Obviously, there's a lot of space in here. Got squared off wheel arches. The fuel filler right there. And, yeah, really not much to say about it. Just a big box. But it holds a lot of stuff. And there's also a light in there. It does have a backup camera right there, and I'll show that to you in a second. There we go. And it also has a tow hitch, so you can tow with it. And your connector for your electronics right there. Not bad. Definitely useful for stuff. And now it is time to check out the engine. Very nice. Got a General Motors 6-liter V8 and a 6L90E transmission. The engine's way back in there somewhere. The engine is accessed mainly from under the dash. Might be able to see it in there, see the belt moving. It's got good power. Cruises nicely on the highway. It's definitely better than all the Ford uHauls, but we'll get more into that during the driving portion. Speaking of which, that's all that's left to do now. Let's go drive this thing. All right. We're driving the uHaul truck. So as I mentioned before, this thing has the 6-liter V8. I'm fairly certain it has the 6-liter V8. You could also get in the regular GMC Savana work van, you could also get the 4.8-liter V8 and the 4.3-liter V6, but it's definitely not a V6, and I highly doubt it's the 4.8-liter V8. But in the regular GMC Savana work van, the 6-liter made 341 horsepower and 373 foot-pounds of torque, and I'm not sure if they changed it for the uHaul truck, but it certainly is powerful. And I mentioned that it's a lot better than all the Ford uHauls, and that is because of this engine, of this 6-liter V8. And I don't understand why uHaul doesn't do the GM trucks for the longer ones. I know they do a GM truck for like their longest truck, for like the 26-foot one, but that's an old truck. I'm not sure what engine's in that, but it's an older body style. And the 15-foot one and the 20-foot U-Haul are both Fords, and they're both. I think they both have the modular V10, and that engine is a heaping pile of garbage, and it's just wildly underpowered. Both times I've moved, when I moved into my apartment and when I moved into the house I'm currently living in. I'm sorry my phone changed so much. We rented the 15-foot and the 20-foot U-Haul, and I remember trying to merge onto the highway with it fully loaded, and I floored it, and it just barely did anything. Like, all the way foot to the floor for 10 whole seconds, and we were only going 50 miles an hour at the end of the on-ramp. It was terrible. And this thing, even fully loaded, it's got plenty of power. Absolutely no trouble merging onto the highway. And it maintains 65 just fine, which the Ford ones wouldn't do, loaded or unloaded. Other things to talk about, the brakes are really good, which is probably, again, I'm not sure if that's just the way they are in the regular GMC Savana, or they changed them for the U-Haul, but the brakes are very, very good, which would make sense because this thing is designed to be driven by idiots who've never driven a giant vehicle like this before. So they got to compensate for that, and the brakes being really good is probably a signifier of them compensating for that. This thing has the 6L90E transmission, which is the predecessor to the... No, not the predecessor. It's the successor to the 4L80E transmission. And obviously you guys know how good those transmissions are. It's quick to downshift, both when you're braking and when you need to accelerate, which I like. The manual mode, obviously it's there. The manual mode is mainly for controlling your speed down steep grades and things like that. Although it does have, like, it'll automatically downshift if it senses that, if it's still accelerating. I've gotten it to do it once. I wasn't going down a hill or anything, but I did floor it, and I got it up to like 75 miles an hour. It's limited to 75 miles an hour, by the way. And when I got it up to 75, I was still on the gas, and it did the great braking control, and it downshifted to slow the thing down. And there is a lot of traffic here. I didn't anticipate. Anyway, the steering is fine. It's work truck steering. It's a little vague on center, but once it loads up, it's reasonably direct and precise. The engine sounds really good. I was surprised by that. I don't know if it has an exhaust leak, but it sounds a bit louder and less refined than I've driven a bunch of these, and I'm used to them being a little bit more quiet than this. This traffic is no es bueno. I should have anticipated this traffic. We're going to turn around in this driveway here, because I don't want to sit in this. I will get back to you guys when I can. I'll be right back. Alrighty, we're back. One thing that I have forgotten to mention is that this thing has StabiliTrak all-wheel drive, which just came in handy as I was turning around on that driveway, because it was an unfinished driveway and it was dirt and gravel and mud, and I would have gotten the damn thing stuck if it didn't have all-wheel drive. So that was good. Like I mentioned before, it does have a backup camera, which is really useful. It also has a rear-view mirror for no reason, but maybe probably the only reason the rear-view mirror is there is the backup camera is in the rear-view mirror, so that's probably the only reason why the rear-view mirror is there. as I'm filming this video, this thing has 69,341 miles on it, which is a little bit higher than average for 2018, but it's not terrible. And I want to floor it, but I need to get on some bigger roads to floor it. Maybe there's some room on Old Stylesboro here. This best MPG gauge is moving all over the place and driving me crazy. Sure, you can hear the box rattling behind me, and we got a nice straight level road here, so foot hard down. Yeah, it's not slow, and you know it's unloaded right now, but it probably does 0 to 60 in 10 seconds, which is, you know, what's actually impressive for something this big. It's surprisingly quick. It really gets up. The Ford ones, no, they just don't. They're so lethargic. And, you know, it's an LS, so it makes a great noise. And the transmission is great. Downshifts right away. I'm a big fan. I've always enjoyed the Chevrolet and GMC work vans, and I know they're more expensive than the Ford ones, but if I was going to do some like van life trip type thing, I would look for the Chevrolet and GMC ones. Definitely an LS one though. I wouldn't want a. I'm not sure what the engine designation was before the LS, but I definitely want an LS one. So yeah. I like this thing, but you guys know I like everything, so just wait until I get my hands on a Ford EcoSport. By the way, if you have a Ford EcoSport, please hit me up. I'd be glad to do a video on it, even though I'm going to shit all over it. But with that being said, that is going to do it for this video on this uHual truck. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I enjoyed making it. I figured that this would be entertaining, and I do actually have things to say about uHual trucks because I've driven a bunch of them. And I will talk to you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching. I'm going to go sit in more traffic. Take care.